Good evening, Virgo. So let's pick up where we left off this afternoon. It's been a beautiful day today. I was with my kids and it was lovely. So I'll go ahead and put the cards that we had down for you here. Excuse me, I apologize. Okay. Yeah, I think basically where we were was, the energy of the Nine of Wands just seemed like they were wanting to see how they could make it to the Nine of Cups. I remember that being kind of where we left off. And so going from there, you get the Seven of Pentacles. And so you could find that whatever you're working on right now, you're just shy of feeling pretty tired about this, whatever it may be. And so you've been planting the seeds, you've been working on this, right? Whatever it is. But you're not reaping the benefits that you thought you would by now. And so it would appear that the tarot is inviting you to reconsider your approach and maybe rework the approach. And this is good because it gives you an opportunity to innovate and maybe build upon things that you were already using, and just like reevaluating, saying, okay, well, what worked, what's been working, what hasn't been working, and go from there. And just do some tweaking. That's it. No big deal. Okay, the Queen of Cups. So you're really you have this psychic energy right now, Virgo. And there's a part of you that's really you are feeling a lot of emotions. It would appear that you're not unstable about it. But you're in touch with what you're feeling right now. And it looks to me like you're feeling a bit weary. This has some weary energy behind, like just kind of woven through it. There's some weary energy. And I think you've been doing a lot of reflecting, and I think that you're paying close attention to just your intuition, and I think you're being invited by the tarot right now to really reflect on that and invite that and follow that, like those gut feelings, and to just be with what is. And the other thing about the Queen of Cups, traditionally, there's a lid on her cup, and it's really the only cup in the entire suit that has a lid. And then in some other decks, you could see her putting her hand over it. And what this says is, you are in charge of what gets put in your cup, and you're really good about inviting. Like, there isn't any kind of experience emotionally, especially, that you're going to have that you didn't allow. And so that's really important. It's a very good strength of the Queen of Cups. And the Seven of Cups, so, there can be some confusion, too. While you are paying attention to your feelings, you could be, have a lot of choices. Like, I guess there can be just a lot of different options, and it's kind of like analysis paralysis. You know, you have sometimes you have so many different ideas of what you can do with your feelings or your situation that you just might not do anything and feel really paralyzed. So what the Seven of Cups invites you to do is to make a choice and not be too bogged down in whether or not you're going to make some huge mistake or what have you. It's just like, okay, you have choices, but you just need to make a move. You need to do something. Like, basically the ball's in your court with whatever's going on in your life right now. And so some forward movement is being asked of you. Yeah. But there can be confusion around, there's confusion around what that is and what's best, and over analyzing, maybe. Does that sound familiar, Virgo? I don't know. It could be. You guys are really good at overthinking things. So then we have the Emperor, which is actually really good energy to come in right now, because, you know, the Emperor says structure, it says rules, there's a groundedness. Sometimes if it's a little too powerful, it can be like rigidity. But by and large, the Emperor is inviting you to set your structure. Set your structure. Like, you might not know what to do because there's like all kinds of feelings going on, and you're just kind of coming from this weary place, and, you know, wanting to bring your highest and best self to the situation, but really not knowing how to do that. Or, you know, maybe you do know how, like maybe you do know what would be an accurate representation, or just kind of an accurate expression, like a real authentic, not necessarily accurate, that sounds like it's an act, really, but like, or a replication or a mimic, but an authentic, genuine showing up. I think that you know what that looks like and you know what that is, but there's something about this situation that's like, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed and confused and afraid on how best to go about that. So with the Emperor, I think it's calling you to do what you do best, you know, is to, you know, make a list and set a little plan. You know, I think that you'll begin to feel a lot clearer. There'll be less confusion in what you're up against when you're able to sit down and like put some pen to paper. And plus, you are being asked to reevaluate. So the Emperor is helping that out. I think that's really strong, a solid medicine and energy for you to have right now. That you really need that, and so that I'm glad for you, Virgo. I'm really glad for you. Okay. And then you have the Hanged Man. So maybe you're just kind of going in a circle. You know, you were like, had all these ideas and choices and things, but it just became so overwhelming and confusing. It was just like hard to choose. Analysis paralysis, which is like very common for Virgos. And then so you're like calling on your structure, wisdom, and then you just gotta come back around to hanging out and waiting for either waiting for the situation to change. So that's okay. So before I tease you too much, Virgo, which I fear that I may have already, but I just can't help but think of certain Virgos in my life. They just are so funny. Um, the Hanged Man could also be an invitation for you to surrender. It's like, you know what, you had all these choices, and you're making these lists, and you know, you maybe like you're getting grounded, getting the structure, and maybe it's just about surrendering. So that's one option, is surrendering and like just allowing um, the next pieces to just kind of come your way. I mean, in a large way, I feel like there's a part of the hangman is like kind of hanging around and waiting for life to happen to you. And I wouldn't advise that, because I feel like you've already kind of been in that energy recently on account of the Nine of Wands. Like, the Nine of Wands, it's like the sky just feels kind of pathetic in a way. Like, I don't know. That's a pretty strong word, but like they have, not pathetic, that's mean, but more like just so, just has taken a beating and, you know, takes a licking and keeps on ticking, I guess, and is prepared, and is more prepared than they realize or feel. Um, but I think that with the whole bandage around your head, that you don't need to also just be like the whipping boy, you know? Um, I mean, I really do feel like you need to take some action here. And what the tarot is saying to me is that when you feel weary, you feel really defeated. And you have an ability to like self reflect and then feel like you're gonna pick yourself up and dust yourself off. And then all of a sudden, there's like another version of like waiting. And you know, you are being invited to reevaluate, because what you have been doing hasn't been working. And you're really in your head about it. You're really in your head about it, and maybe even creating a narrative that, you know, leaves you feeling very stuck. Um, and feeling like there isn't anything that you can do, and that you're just going to be suffering in this self created prison of some of your own making in your mind. And you don't have to do that, you know. If that's what's happening for you, you don't have to do that, because the other aspect of the Eight of Swords is that while you are having this experience of overanalyzing and maybe creating a narrative inside your mind about what these certain things mean, or what you need to do, or what you didn't do, and la di da, like the beat goes on, right? And the positive aspect of this Eight of Eight of Swords. I hope I didn't say wands earlier, but Eight of Swords. Um, is that the binds are very loose, so you can break them at any time. Like, you have a lot more power than you think you do. You have a lot more personal power than you think you do. I think it's important for you to get very clear with what is inside of your heart, and have your heart and your head match, and then live in alignment with that. And I think another piece that can be very helpful is that it doesn't have to get it, you don't have to figure it all out at once. You don't have to figure it all out at once, but it doesn't mean that you should just not figure it out. I mean, yeah. But you know, this is what's being shown, right? And then there's the Chariot. So, I mean, it looks to me like you are going to finally kind of come out of this foggy space and this going around the mulberry bush phase, and you are going to be making a decision and you are going to be making a move. And this is really good. You're finally taking the reins. You're being invited to take the reins. I would hope that you take the reins, and you do, and you move toward whatever it is. And what the Chariot is, I mean, really, once the one of the most lovely aspects of the Chariot, I feel that like just resonates so much, is that like once this is set in motion, it can't be stopped. So there's like a real sense of divine guidance when the Chariot energy shows up, and I think that that's wonderful. Um, that's just so good. So it looks to me like you are going to be coming a bit out of this, and you know what's so cool? And I'm really loving this kind of like reverse pyramid spread that I've just kind of like organically started doing. I really like it because it shows you where the cards can also line up in different spots. And the Chariot is between the Emperor and the Seven of Cups, and it's also in alignment in the middle with the Nine of Cups. So it's like you're finally going to be doing the needful with regard to your highest and best self, you know? So, and with the help of the Emperor, and, you know, the confusion about the Seven of Cups, it's all a part of the process. Like this whole, it's all a part of the process. It's okay to feel unsure. It's okay to try different methods at like manifesting or like growing, like tending to, and you know, really trying to make something happen, to make something grow, and then come to find that you have to reevaluate. Like, it's okay. I mean, it's all an experiment, right? It's all an experiment. We make our choices and we get clearer. And yeah. Okay, the King of Wands. So, yeah, I'm imagining this could also. Ugh. Sorry. um, it wasn't my phone, so that's what creeped me out a little bit. But I realized that um, my my son has like this. I forget what they call it. Like it's a phone, but it's not hooked up to a service, so it's just like you're just doing your little Pokemon on it or whatever you're gonna do. It still makes noise. Sorry. So we have the King of Wands that's following the Chariot and is in between, you know, the Emperor and the Hanged Man and the Knight of Wands, right? And it's all within this as well. Like the Seven of Pentacles, there's a reevaluation. It's like, okay, Hanged Man, you're gonna just wait for, you know, okay, you planted your seeds. It wasn't growing, so maybe is your idea, you know, treat it like a weed, it'll grow like a weed. And then maybe it didn't grow still. And then you're like, I actually have to get moving on this. I gotta harness my interaction, my King of Wands here. So the King of Wands is definitely a call to action. And I mean, this feels, you know, less like an invitation, but more of like a prediction of what you will be embodying and harnessing, and the energy you will be using in order to make this chariot move, in order to actually pilot this chariot. You know, you need to follow your desire. You need to follow your desire, and you need to not necessarily throw caution to the wind, but do what it is that you really want to do. Sometimes I think, Virgo, you can really consider like everybody else, like, you know, instead of just being like, this is my choice, this is something that I want to do, there's like all this maybe like, oh, well, how's that going to affect John? And what about Sally? And, you know, I mean, it's like all these other considerations. And it's like, well, guess what? John and Sally, if you are that considerate about them, they should be considerate about you in return. And I would bet that whatever you decided to do, John and Sally would have your back. You know, whatever, whoever they are. Like, those are just these names I chose, but really considering so much of all the moving parts. And, you know, it really does come down to control. I mean, in the finish, you can't control how other people respond to the decisions that you make. You can only be in charge of yourself and how you feel about it. And I also think that it's very important to make your decisions and live in alignment with your truth, and like make decisions that, even if they benefit, even if they cause another person pain or sorrow or inconvenience or whatever, that it's okay, you know. This is kind of hard for me to say, but it's like it's not about you making the decision in order to mess up or disrupt that person's world. You're making the decision for yourself, and this just happens to be, you know, a result, but a temporary one, because typically if relationships are healthy, the other person will honor your path and whatever you choose. So basically, Virgo, like, you don't need to overthink things, but that's just also a part of your nature. But I think that with regard to the reading, and outside of my rambling tangent just then, like, you are getting back in touch with your desire, and you're piloting the chariot. I feel like you were in your head. You broke free from those. You broke free from those loose binds. So the Six of Pentacles after that, you know, it seems like maybe there's a sense of fairness. There's a sense of fairness and balance. Like, you made a decision and you're finally taking action, but we're still mindful about being fair and generous and charitable. And I think you were also, what this card also reminds you to do is to stay, you want to give and you want to be fair and kind and balanced, but it's not, you cannot allow it to come at the expense of your own energy. It's one of those things like that just popped in my head just now, like, you know, putting on your own oxygen mask first before helping the other person with theirs. That's a part of it. And that's what I was just talking about. Like, if you make a decision that's going to benefit your own path, that's okay, you know. It doesn't mean that you don't care. It doesn't mean that you are going to put your own oxygen mask on and be like, oh, wait, what? You need help? Like, you wanted some oxygen too? Like, I don't know. Like, there's a fairness in your approach here. Okay, Three of Cups. And which is great, you know? This could mean that, like, happier times are ahead after this. Like, you're definitely in alignment with having made the best decision for yourself. Um, and you have come into by the end of this reading, like, you are definitely living your highest by your highest self, you know, bringing your best and highest self to the table. It took a little bit, you know, it took a process, but that's okay. It was all a part of it. But the Three of Cups also suggests that through this through this endeavor, through this movement, through this experience, that you want to have your trusted and like your soul confidants around you. You want to have your team. You need to have your support around you. You know, and finally, with the Eight of Wands, it would appear that, like, ever in motion, you know, ever in motion. Ever in motion. And that is something, because I'm putting the Eight of Wands down, and with regard to, like, the pyramid shape, or the pyramid layout, I should say, it's right underneath the Chariot. So it's like, it's coming at you. You made you this process, and there was a decision that was made, and you made the best decision. I mean, you made the decision that works for you. And that's because there's positive energy. You were very fair. You took a very fair approach, and um or at least the tarot is inviting you to take a very fair approach. It's inviting you to do these things. And by and large, you know, everybody has free will, so, you know, who knows? I mean, maybe a part of the process you might only get to the Hangman and stay there, but it doesn't feel that way to me. I mean, Virgo, I think that coming through this process with the Eight of Wands as, like, the cap, is that you're ever in motion, and um, it's coming and you are moving towards it, and maybe it's fated. So I believe that there's positivity coming your way. Mm-hmm. So I hope that is a good reading for you, Pisces, or not Pisces, I'm sorry, Virgo. And as always, you can ask questions in the comments section. Um, and if there's anything that you feel like I missed, and I've been saying this lately, you know, I like to, as I'm reading the cards, call out the cards. And, you know, if there's a particular association that you have, and that imagery is triggered for you, or that insight has come up, like, that is gold. Like, that's, you know, anything that you're able to come up with as a result from this reading, in addition to anything that I've said, even if I didn't say it, you know, of course, that's what's inside of you, and that's your truth, and that's wonderful. So please, um So let's go ahead and pick an oracle card for the cap, and we'll do that. Okay. Conscious connections. Conscious connections. It shows two people, and it looks like she's in a mirror, but I get the sense that um I think what I'll do is I'll even read this because this is a pretty new deck for me. I really like it a lot. It's um the Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild, and the art is just so nice, and it's just beautiful. So I think I'd like to read this for you. But it sounds to me like just as I look at it, my interpretation of this would be um, conscious connections. Virgo, you are very, like I'd said before, like you can be very conscientious of how your decisions are going to affect other people. And then I think that there's a part of you, excuse me, that wants to please everybody involved, including yourself. Um, but if not everybody can be happy, then you'll be the one who will take the shortest straw and not be happy. So I think that you have a conscious connection with the people that you're dealing with here. All right, conscious connections. There is a call for more intimacy in your immediate relationships. There is an opening for heart to heart communication that can salvage and restore a broken relationship or friendship. If you are willing to honor your differences and look to what unites you. Sometimes it is hard to bear the differences between one another. One person may be willing to live life in high definition, whilst the other may prefer to live it more vicariously until they have the confidence to step up onto the center stage of their own life story. We are not here to judge each other, just to love, to be loved, and to let go of those that cannot accept us as we open up to those who can. This oracle brings guidance for you to trust in the sanctity of the connections in your life. If you have asked to experience a more sacred connection with people who truly get you and want to play life with you rather than at odds with or against you, then this oracle is confirmation that this manifestation is on its way to you now. It may or may not be obvious at first, but kindred spirits are going to enter your life to help you connect with your deeper feelings and creativity. They will give wings to your inspirational ideas and big dreams. If you have been asking for healing in your own current friendships or other immediate relationships, know that this can happen through your willingness to express your true feelings and allow the situation to either fall apart or come together, according to the greater workings of life. Sometimes webs that have joined people together are broken, and that is appropriate as people may outgrow what once held them together. Sometimes the ties that bind us together are so strong that they are able to withstand a great deal of pressure and still remain intact. The webs of connection between us will sever or sustain based on the higher wisdom of life itself. Either way, healing happens in the resolution of our feelings, and we are once again able to feel free, forgive, and be ready to move on to the next stage of relating, either with a person who has been in connection with us for a time or with someone new. This oracle asks you to remain open to healing connections and to allow people to be close to you. Trust in the process that draws people in and out of your life. Resist nothing and seek wisdom in all. I think that really resonates with this reading. I hope you do too. And thank you so much for tuning in today. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and comment. And any criticism, I take compliments as well. But any criticism, please let it be constructive. And yeah, just let it be constructive. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your viewership, and I hope that you have a really great week. Okay, thanks a lot.